A new day and a new journey. Today we are traveling not in pursuit of wildlife, but rather this trip is primarily for a different quest. A quest for heritage and culture of a unique region in southern India, the Union Territory of Puducherry, or formerly known as Pondicherry.
Welcome to Quest, Wilderness and More, where every trail tells a story and curiosity leads the way. From misty forests and elusive wildlife to vibrant cultures, soulful stays and winding roads, this space captures the wild, the wonder and everything in between. So whether you're here for conservation insights, sunrise treks, heartfelt reflections, or just a good cup of roadside tea, you are part of the quest. Let's wander soulfully and protect fiercely, not with fences, but with deep understanding, compassion, and care. Because to truly coexist, we must honor every trail we walk and do our bit to keep our planet clean, thriving, and alive.
We started early in the morning at 5 a.m. Here is the map of the route we took. We took the route that goes via Vellore. We utilized the new satellite ring road initially, the NH678, which connected us to NH75, taking us all the way to Vellore. From Vellore, if you are headed towards Chennai, it takes a different set of roads, and for us, for ones like us who are headed to Pondicherry, the road is different. We took a short tea break somewhere just after touching the NH75. It was a typical tapdi wali chai, bole to roadside tea, and it is great to take such breaks on highways. Tapdi ke saath ek mana bakery bhi thi, which let our parents satisfy their cravings for biscuits. We drove into Andhra Pradesh while on NH75, and after leaving Karnataka behind us while crossing the Ramnathpuram non-functional toll plaza. It was a short hilly stretch which went past a forest area. This ghat area went through Colonial Wildlife Sanctuary, and some careful driving is needed here. Don't get me wrong, as I am not suggesting you should not be careful while driving through other easy conditions. Driving is as much a responsibility as much it is therapeutic. I mean, for me at least, driving is therapeutic as it rejuvenates me. What is driving to you? Or any opinion on what I just said? Please share your thoughts by writing in the comment section. I would be very glad to know, and I would be very interested. So, the end of this slightly treacherous ghat section marks the border of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Till outskirts of Vellore, the road is in prime condition. Typical NH that India should be proud of. In our previous video, this is where our Mahindra 3XO diesel was showing an average mileage of around 23 km per liter. If you haven't checked our earlier video on car review, please watch it if you're interested. The link is in the description. Around the outskirts of Vellore on NH75 itself, after entering Tamil Nadu, we stopped by this place to have breakfast. Annapurna was a very neat and clean and well-maintained place. The masala dosa served was delectable, and some of us were craving for these soft, non-oily home-style dosas for a long time. The restrooms were clean too. Between Vellore to Puducherry, there are mainly mix of backcountry roads through small townships and villages, and some final stretch of highway till the Pondi town. The final 1 kilometer stretch to our resort, the Bansuri Beach Resort, was a muddy, unpaved road called the Lake View Road. But to get here to the Lake View Road, you have to traverse past the entire Pondicherry town, and yes, it is traffic laden. I mean, you have to face a lot of traffic, even bumper to bumper traffic, just like any other big cities. Anyway, so after touching the Lakeview Road, for the last 1 kilometer, we eventually had this muddy unpaved road that got us to the Bansuri Beach Resort.
Now let me give you the property tour. That's the entry gate. Decent enough parking space. Hi, that's my mom and dad. My mother-in-law is not feeling well, so she's taking rest. There they are, having great time in the pool. That's the restaurant, and that side there are other rooms. Now let me show you the room. Oops, quite messed up, sorry for that. They have given a queen size bed, a single bed, some hangers, mirror, TV, Wi-Fi, AC, a must in Pondicherry, sofa to sit, 2 water bottles, half-liter water bottles, a cupboard, decent enough space to keep your things. Actually, 4 people can easily fit. 3 adults, a child can easily fit into this room. Now let me show you the bathroom. We have geyser, which we are hardly going to use. Basin, all the basic toiletries were provided. Yeah, that's it. The usual breakfast we had for the three days: boiled eggs, sambar, aloo ki sabji, puri, pongal, vada, I guess idli, yes, idlis, and some chutneys. Sandune Beach was just a short walk from our stay at Bansuri Beach Resort, maybe a few hundred meters at most. The beach had plenty of parking, and since the beach is privately managed, it was clean, quiet, and well kept. There's usually a small entry fee, 70 per person, but we got lucky. As guests of the resort, we were waved through without a ticket. The beach had a lot going on: water sports, paramotoring, and even dolphin sighting. Yes, dolphins. We spotted several swimming close to shore, and it felt like a little gift from the sea. Food wasn't a problem either. There's a restaurant called Fat Fish, plus plenty of small stalls serving North Indian, South Indian, Chinese, and others. They have thoughtfully set up separate shower and changing rooms for men and women, which made things easier after a long day by the water. Since we visited during monsoon, swimming was off limits. The waves were too rough. But honestly, just watching the sea in that mood was an experience in itself.
If you are driving your own car, you will face a lot of traffic and chaos, and the usual misery that usually follows. Yes, the excruciating battle to find a parking spot. Yeah, so our suggestion is just head directly to the Rock Beach public parking area, which is a paid parking area, and at just rupees 50 you will surely get access to an expansive parking area. If you are driving your car, just park here and try to cover Rock Beach and the White Town on foot. Alright then, let me give you a brief history of this remarkable place. Before the European colonization of our subcontinent even began, This region was a vibrant Tamil speaking community consisting of traders, fishermen, and certain other indigenous people. And this area did not exist as a separate kingdom as such, but as a part of the Tamil territories. However, when European colonization began, this area was colonized by the British only very briefly for just a few years. Unlike the most of the rest of India, but rather this area was under a different European East India venture until it became part of independent India only on 1st of November 1954. Yes, apart from the Britishers, the French were also prominent colonizers of the Indian subcontinent, though may not be as prominent as the British. Pondicherry, present day known as Puducherry, was founded as a French colonial settlement in 1674 and grew into the administrative and commercial hub of French India, distinct from the surrounding British-dominated Madras Presidency. The town became a focal point of European rivalry in the Indian Ocean, especially between the French and the British across the 18th and the early 19th centuries. During 1760s, again Anglo-French conflicts emerged. Pondicherry experienced British pressure and at times even brief occupations, though it was generally restored to France afterwards. Hence, there was a continuous French control for over 138 years between 1816 to 1954. The yellow painted colonial architecture is reminiscent of that bygone era. As a result, Puducherry has a unique Tamil-French fused culture and it reflects on the cuisine too. Located about 8 to 12 kilometers north of Puducherry is Auroville, spread over 20 square kilometers. It was founded by the spiritual leader Mira Alfaza, who is simply referred to as the Mother. Oro means light, as in aura, or simply the dawn or sunrise, and ville is a French word for the city. Therefore, Auroville literally translates to the city of the dawn. The suffix of the name is also associated with Rishi Aurobindo. There is ample parking space available at a walkable distance from the visitor center. From the visitor center, one can get free passes to visit the most prominent feature, which is the Matri Mandir. Matri Mandir is a dome-shaped structure. This feature is the center of Auroville, designed as if Matri Mandir is the sun of the solar system. Entering Matri Mandir requires special permissions, and those seeking it should speak to the officials at the visitor center. Okay, let me give you a brief history about Rishi Aurobindo and the Mother. Sri Aurobindo was a scholar who is respected by many because of the fact that in spite of having scored top ranks in the civil services, which at that time was called the ICS, he decided to not serve the British administration but rather join the freedom fight. He was a fierce writer who criticized the British. He was closely monitored by the British secret services. The major landmark event that ended his freedom fighting efforts was the Alipur bomb case, which resulted in his arrest after being accused of being one of the perpetrators. Later, he was acquitted after he agreed to become a government witness, bole to sarkari gawah, types, उन दिनों ऐसे बोलते थे ऐसे. So he is criticized by many for doing this, as because of this many other perpetrators, one of them being Barindra Krishna Ghosh, who was also one of the who was also accused of being one of the perpetrators of the Adipur bomb case, received death sentence, which though later was converted to life imprisonment in the Andaman's infamous cellular jail, which is like worse than a death sentence, right? Yeah, if you don't know about the Andaman cellular jail, maybe when we get a chance to visit it, we'll make a video about that. It has some quite intense history to it, right? So after this incident, Sri Aurobindo quit politics, and thus his journey as a freedom fighter ended. And after this, he pursued spirituality and studies related to it. He eventually settled in Pondicherry region, being of course he was seeking asylum, as Pondicherry at that time was a French colony and was not under the administrative control of the British. Hence, he could not be pursued by the British there in the French colony, right? The mother, on the other hand, was a spiritual leader, and he was a very close associate of Sri Aurobindo. The community here in Auroville is based on spiritual teachings and vision of Sri Aurobindo and the mother, focusing on inner growth and conscious evolution rather than any specific dogma or religion. As a concept, the sole purpose of Auroville was to serve as an inclusive community dedicated to spiritual growth, sustainable living, social harmony. Residents and volunteers from dozens of countries live here, governed by Auroville Foundation under the Indian government, with a focus on self-governance and shared ownership of land. The residents of Auroville practice, permaculture, organic farming, renewable energy, crafts, education, and various workshops. Many residents work in agriculture, arts, and services that supports the community. At the visitor center, there was also this beautiful exhibition that showcased various artwork, each one of which depicted some intrinsic concepts of spirituality and meditation.
Thank you for joining us on this soulful escape to Pondicherry, where monsoon waves roared and the streets shimmered with life. We hope this journey brought you peace and wonder. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and keep the stories flowing. The return was quiet and familiar, tracing the same rain-washed roads back home. If Pondicherry has ever left its mark on you, we would love to hear your memories in comments. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep exploring.